Welcome back to our coverage of Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day here in Sioux Falls at the Sanford Pentagon. I'm Marcus Traxler with Matt Zimmer. Trey Houschen joining us here to talk to the University of South Dakota Coyotes. Matt Vitsum, the new head coach, joined here by Nathan LePerry on the defensive line and Tyson Bowes, wide receiver. Guys, thanks for being here. We'll start with the new coach. First time running the show for the Coyotes here on Media Day. You got the nice suit. That's a good start. Tell us about just since you took over in the winter and this run up to the season. I'm sure there's been a lot of excitement to sort of be in control and lead this group. What do you feel like is maybe a theme or two of the Coyotes so far in 2026?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, obviously third head coach and 3 media days, right? Yeah. I think these guys, this is such a credit to these guys of the success that we've kind of built and sustained over the past 3 to 4 seasons. It isn't about me. It isn't about one head coach. It isn't about one quarterback. Just super impressed with the resilience of these guys and the way they buy into the process every single day. And luckily that process has proven to, breed some great results, and we're super excited about the season. I think we got a great team, just like every other coach is probably going to say here today, but joined by 2 great guests today, and obviously, super excited ahead into the season.
Tyson, we talked at the end of spring ball about a new coach coming in and, promoting from within, so it wasn't a huge change, but certainly there seemed to be a sense that spring ball went really well. There was a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, sort of a feeling that we're going to be okay. Making this transition isn't going to hurt us. Can you expound a little bit on that and sort of where the players are at, how you feel going into this season?
I feel like I'm really excited. I feel like we have a great group of young men ready to just attack and just get ready to go on the field.
Yeah, Coach, we lost to 3 offensive playmakers last year with Aiden, LJ, and Lorenzo. Just what gives you the confidence this offense can kind of bounce back from last year with those new players this year too?
Yeah, I've said this a couple of times. The crazy thing is I think we returned 2 of the best tailbacks in college football that people have probably forgotten a little bit about. Charles Pierre obviously will be that kind of workhorse, and then Keandre Jones-Loden. I'm super excited about his development to become a little bit more of an every down tailback. So to bring those 2 guys back is a great security blanket to obviously break in a new quarterback. And then I think we bring back a tremendous group of wide receivers, a collection of guys, maybe not that one premier guy that we've talked about. The reason Tyson Bowes is here today is he's the epitome of what a Yote has been. He started his career as a special teams player, worked himself into a role player on offense, and I think he's, really destined for a breakout season on the offensive side of the football. So I think we're going to surround that new quarterback with a ton of playmakers. It may be some new guys. It may be some guys that have been out there that maybe haven't had those touches that maybe everybody wants to see. But we have plenty of talent around that guy, and we're super excited about that group.
Nathan, how good's the defense going to be, and what's going to make them good?
I think we easily will be one of the best, if not the best, defense in not just the conference but the country. I think what makes them good is we have a lot of guys that have played a lot, like Gabe, Timbo, Kale, Wade, and those guys, Chris Dixon too, and those guys will lead from the front.
Matt, kind of the question you're going to get asked a million times. You've already been asked a million times. Who's going to be your quarterback? I know you don't have an answer for that right now. Can you tell us a little bit about just sort of how you're going to approach that in the fall, how quickly you want to make a decision, and what's ultimately going to lead to who gets the job?
Yeah, it's a great question. I appreciate it. Obviously, everybody in Yote Nation wants to know that. I can tell you this, started that competition back in spring, really heated up, 15 great practices. That competition was ongoing this summer. Our plan is it's wide open right now to start fall camp. After the first week of fall camp, we are going to have somebody really kind of move into that slot to be that, starter, that guy that gets all the first team reps. And if that guy can handle it, we'll keep him in that slot. And if we don't feel like he handles it, we'll rearrange a little bit. But that's our plan. That's been our plan for now about 5 months as an offensive staff. That position is near and dear to my heart. I've coached that position my whole career. So excited to see it play out. I will continue to press on the fact that the guy that can just go out there and consistently do what our football team needs him to do, whether that's get us in the right run check, whether that's check a protection, whether that's deliver a strike on 3rd down, the guy that can do that consistently for us and keep us out of trouble, that'll be the guy that ultimately takes the first snap and hopefully takes all the snap for us at quarterback.
Well, I think people outside the program look at USD and use that as a reason to doubt them. Like, we don't know who their quarterback's going to be. And that makes sense for a certain standpoint. But I imagine for you mentioned you've been coaching that position forever. you can kind of spin this as a positive, right? In that those guys are competing. I'm not saying that Aiden Bauman was complacent or lazy or anything like that, but he knew that job was his. Now you've got these 3 guys that are all pushing each other to win that job.
Absolutely. Obviously, competition, brings out the best in people. The other thing I can tell you is, just like any departure of a player in your program, there's something maybe that next guy can do that last guy couldn't do, right? I think all 3 guys are going to bring an element of using their legs, which I know Yote fans are excited about, right? A lot better than Aiden did. That wasn't Aiden's forte. He knew that, so he had some other things that made him great. All 3 of these guys, whether we design a quarterback run, whether they can extend a play, whether they can scramble and make yards off of that, all 3 of those guys have those capabilities. And if you look at our top quarterbacks in our league right now, all 3 of those guys, the guys that are here today, have the capabilities of doing that. And I think that's something that we need in college football, and our next quarterback will have.
Yeah, Nathan, you transferred from North Texas last year. Just what has this last, year and a half been like for you, transferring from North Texas to USD now in your second season?
I've enjoyed it a lot. I like it here. I like the team. I like the coaches. It's been home, and it's been great.
Coach, one of the patterns we've noticed with Valley teams this year is almost everybody's playing in week 0, and it sounds like that's going to kind of be the standard going forward. Probably will become week 1. But and you guys have Central Connecticut State in week 1. I'm guessing you probably didn't have much to do with getting that game on the schedule, but how do you feel about playing, on that first or that final Saturday in August and kicking off that season a little earlier?
Yeah, I like it. I agree with you. Let's just call it week 1, right? Like this week 0 thing, it is what it is. Yeah, I'm excited. I really think our non-conference schedule is awesome. I think we're going to be challenged in a bunch of different ways. Obviously, we're going to Boise, right? We're playing a couple of playoff teams. Eastern Washington is a spread-you-out offense that we don't see a ton of in our league. So I think we're really going to be able to come out of the non-conference schedule and know exactly who we are as a football team heading into Valley play, right? The other thing I can tell you that's a lot better than it was last year was we got to go through spring practice with our team that we're going to go out there with. So I'm excited to have a little bit better start than we had last season. And I know our guys are anxious to get out there in week 0 and get it going.
Tyson, will you guys as players miss the rivalry with North Dakota State?
Definitely. I feel like they always gave us a hard run for our money, but it was a great environment to play there, and I always felt like it was always a good game whenever we went head-to-head with the Bison. So
Coach,
they definitely missed.
Oh, I'm sorry. How, if at all, does the landscape change a little bit with them not in the picture?
Yeah, it obviously when you lose somebody that good, right? I mean, there's no denying it. That's a powerhouse football program, right? And them departing is certainly, going to affect our conference. And I know this may sound cliche, but it's about the people in the league, right? And that's our focus. We're focused on ourselves and who's ever in front of us that week. It just so happens they're not in front of us. We've had some really good, if you look in the past 3 to 4 years, there's been some really good battles with those guys. And it's really brought out the best, even when they beat us pretty handily last year, that changed the trajectory of our season.
Right.
After that, we had to take a deep look into the mirror of who we are and what we want to be. And honestly, that rear kicking really helped us. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a different landscape. It is what it is. But we're focused on the teams in this league, and we still are the premier football league in this country.
All right, guys, I think that's where we'll leave it for now. We appreciate you being here. More coverage of Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day right after this.
Welcome back to Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day, brought to you by First International Bank and Trust. I'm Matt Zimmer, joined by the Northern Iowa Panthers head coach Todd Stepsis, quarterback Jackson Daly, and linebacker John Powers. Guys, welcome to Sioux Falls.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for
I mean, we got to start with Jackson, longest drive winner, I'm told, yesterday at the Players Golf thing. 319?
Yeah, it took all the way up until the last shot, but when it came down to it, we got one out there.
So that time in the weight room's paying off then,
Yeah,
I guess.
shout out Jeff Jones for that one.
How's your short game?
Working on it. Yeah, for sure, definitely working on that one.
Coach, year 2 for you with the Panthers. Just talk a little bit about what you feel like you learned in year 1, what you guys accomplished in year 1, and how you can take that into year 2.
Yeah, kind of like Jackson's short game, work in progress. Every day is a new challenge, an opportunity for us to grow together as a team, to get better, to find our new best, and we're just really grateful for the group that we have. I think I always like to use the first-year teacher analogy. When you step into a program for that first time, you're kind of going by the seat of your pants. You're making the plans as you go. You're solving the problems as you go. And now year 2, you're aware of maybe some of the things you need to overcome, and you have a better plan on how to do that. And then, with the team too, it feels like we know them better. I'd have to, critical of myself a year ago, maybe didn't do a good enough job of really getting to know our team, and not only what they did and didn't do well on the field, but more importantly who they are, and who they are when adversity strikes, who we can count on, what makes them tick, how to help them find their best. And so now it feels like we know who we have. We're really grateful for our leaders, with these 2 guys being at the top of that ladder, and excited for the season to come.
John, if you can, talk about sort of that same process from the player's perspective. It's now year 2 under Todd. Do you have a better idea of what the coaches expect, of sort of what the schemes are, and just what the temperature of the team is going to be?
Yeah, obviously the first year was a big change. A lot of new faces, a lot of new people to meet, and a brand new system. I think that was probably the hardest adjustment for me, was just getting a whole new scheme and taking coaching from a new coach. But now we're all on the same page, and there's a lot more player-led leadership where we know the scheme. We can tell the freshmen what's going on, what to expect, and what they need to do so that we can uphold a culture and standard and just continue to grow.
Yeah, Jackson, obviously you were starting quarterback the last 4 games last year. Just kind of having those 4 games underneath their belt now. Just what are you looking forward to this season, starting from week 1 in your starting senior season?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It was the last 4 games. Obviously we didn't finish the year necessarily how we wanted to, but kind of creating some momentum. We kind of hit some hot streaks here and there, but trying to put a whole game together, I think that's the biggest thing that we're focusing on. And like you said, it all starts week 1. Like you can't win every game if you don't win the first one. So it doesn't matter looking forward into the season, just kind of doing everything to prepare for the first game the best we can.
Todd, this program obviously has a really great history and tradition in FCS, but it's been a while since it's had that kind of success. Does that become part of your recruiting message, part of your mantra for motivating this team, is that this program has been a powerhouse before, you guys have a chance to take it back there?
Yeah, I think anybody that's been to the Cedar Valley, Cedar Falls, you feel the pride that people have in our program. And even though the success hasn't happened on the field for a few years, people still really care about it. And so, when you think about what gives us juice, what our purpose is, we all have our individual things that get us out of bed when maybe we don't feel like it. But then I think everybody on our team, they want to be their best for the ones that did come before us. All of those Panther greats from those unbelievable teams that would go deep into the playoffs and win conference championships. We want to do everything we can to make them proud to be a former Panther, and we feel the love. We feel the love in our community. But myself, I get a chance to visit with the former greats that live all over this place, and boy, they love their Panthers. They bleed the purple and gold just as much as they did when they were students and they were on the field for us.
Todd, you got Iowa on the schedule this year. I know those games with Iowa and Iowa State are always a big deal for Northern Iowa. Tell us your viewpoint on just playing those FBS opponents, and are those games more difficult because we've had the portal and all these, sort of the rating of the rosters of the FCS to sort of rebuild those FBS rosters? Are those games more difficult now?
That's a great question. I think when we go into a game as an underdog, and it's still a 60-minute ball game. The rules are the same for everybody. The field's the same dimensions, regardless of where you go or who you play. There may be more fans in the stands, when you're playing up a level. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to execute. You got to be able to play really hard for the guy to the right and the left and in the front and behind you. And it doesn't matter who you're playing or what time of year or what the stakes are. And I think if your mentality stays consistent, if you're relentless in your pursuit and again, like you have that genuine value and care for the guys that you're out there with, whoever wants to play us, we're game and we're excited to be there. And I know, I'm personally excited about playing teams like Iowa, and then down the road we're going to play Iowa State. I think if you look at our next 5 FBS opponents these next 5 years, it's twice at Iowa and twice at Iowa State. Our state has a lot of pride in their football, their high school football, and we have a lot of Iowa guys on our team with the first ever state champ at Southeast Polk, at the helm, and another guy at Bondurant down there in the Metro, and so. We got great football, we got great teams, and to be able to showcase that in our state going against an opponent that feels the same way is pretty special too.
It's great that they both play you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's situations where they don't want to have anything to do with that.
Well, if we do it the right way, that might get to that point. So I think that at the end goal, we would love to be the team that I don't know if we necessarily want those guys anymore, but. The next 5 years, we're going to see them a couple times each.
Guys, you go against each other in practice. Obviously, one of you being on offense, one of you on defense. So I want to ask you, you tell me about why your defense is going to be good. You tell me what you see from the Panthers' offense.
I'll say defensively, just kind of the way the guys have bought in to the scheme, bought into each other. Like Johnny said, last year everybody was drinking water from a fire hose at the same time. But now, you got a guy like Johnny who's more knowledgeable in the system, and he's teaching the younger guys. He's meeting with the other guys. And when you do that, not only are you all on the same page, but also you build that chemistry where when Johnny's playing linebacker, he trusts the guy next to him to do what he's supposed to do so he can play his position to the best of his ability. So that was kind of a thing that I felt personally watching the defense, playing against the defense, is just all of them being on the same page, and the communication has picked up, and those guys in that sense.
Mm-hmm. I'd say for the offense, I'd say the number one thing that we have is buy-in. We got 11 guys who are all bought in, and more specifically, the wide receiver room is really exciting. We got some guys back this year who are really dangerous out on the perimeter, and I'm super excited for them to come back. And it's been a really great spring seeing them run around. And I think that's going to cause a lot of trouble for some defenses in the fall. So.
Well, guys, thanks for being here, and good luck this season.
Yeah,
we'll be back with more
Thank
coverage
you.
of Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day after this. We are joined now by the Southern Illinois Salukis, our last team of the day. Head coach Nick Hill, quarterback DJ Williams, and linebacker Chris Presto. Guys, welcome to Sioux Falls.
Hey, appreciate it. It's been a good experience. We came up last year, was excited to get back. We always look forward to staying here when we play SDSU too.
We were talking to some of the players and some of the coaches just about some of the activities they have for you guys. DJ, they were talking about you guys got to go on a golf outing, and all the teams were there, I guess?
Yes.
So was that friendly? Was it competitive? Get a little heated when you guys are golfing against each other?
It wasn't too competitive with me. I'm not very good at golf. So we played the cool route. We played the just have the vibes, guys. That's what we were yesterday. But it got pretty competitive toward the end with the long shot. But it was just a good time to get around those other guys and just talk about some things other than football and just get to know those guys outside of the football field.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chris, I know there's really no such thing as an off season. You're going all year round. But when you get to this time of year, you have media day. Practice is starting in, 2 or 3 weeks. Juices start to get flowing, starting to feel like, okay, it's about time, ready to strap it on.
Yeah, everyone's looking forward to that fall camp. The first day is very exciting, and then you got to keep it going through those however many practices it is to that first game. It's a great time. It's the best time of year, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Nick, just what's your sense of where your team's at, who you got coming back, how good you feel about any momentum you have from last year? Just what are the vibes as the season gets ready to start?
Yeah, I think like everybody here, like Chris said, best time of the year. This is what we do. This is our profession, and this is why they ultimately came. Like you mentioned too, it's kind of a year-round deal now, but it's all in preparation for football season, the fall. And so, I'm excited about this group. I'm sure you hear that throughout all the coaches, but I think we know what we have in the building and the expectations that this team has. And so they've put in the necessary work up to this point, and now we've got to have a great training camp and preparing for this season. We have a tough schedule like we always do. I think the experience blended with some of the new guys and the young guys that haven't yet played for us but have been developing in our program. I think just the consistency of this team. Obviously, when you bring back your quarterback and those consistent pieces, Chris is going on 4 years now of playing for us, and a variety of guys. Vinny Pierre, which is Chris's high school teammate, is going on 4 years playing at safety, never redshirted. A lot of those returning starters, and then blended with, some of those new guys like I mentioned. But, last year I think probably 4 out of our top 5 or 4 out of our 6 top vote getters for captain are back on this team. And so when it can be player-led like that, coaches maybe leave for the summer.
That's
and I
kind
tell
of
them
rare
all the
these
time,
days to
like,
have that, yeah.
You guys have it, and as a coach you can kind of turn it off and not be worried because these guys are in control. It gives you a great chance to have a good year.
Nick, what do you think about, we saw the preseason poll, and I know coaches always like to downplay the preseason poll, but 5 of the 9 teams in the league got a first-place vote. It seems like it could be relatively wide open. There's no North Dakota State in the picture this season. What is your view on how competitive this league is going to be this season?
Yeah, I think going into year 11, I've learned that it's always so competitive. I think even the guys that aren't being talked about, are well coached. I think Jody's done a great job with Murray, and we went down there last year and played in a rain game, and there's just well-coached, disciplined teams. Indiana State, Kurt does a great job. When you play Indiana State, it's going to be a detailed group and a tough game. And so, every game you have to come and play. You're going to see some teams slip up and get beat by, so the preseason polls, yeah, you downplay it because I think you know that, we all probably believe the same thing, we can go win that thing. Everybody votes, and heck, I think I gave it to our ops guy to put I don't
You're not
know,
supposed to say that out loud.
3, 4. I know this year, with this group, the expectations going into the season is I put us number 1,
Mm-hmm.
and I want those guys to feel that. If you go in kind of hesitant, hey, what are we going to say? We're going to be 3rd. You know what I mean? This group's got to believe, we want to bring a championship back, but it starts with a belief and a deep down conviction. No, we got to go do it. And then now with us all playing each other, we'll find out in the fall. We'll get our chance to go prove it against everybody.
Guys, you got to like hearing that from your coach to say, hey, we're going to be number 1 in a league that obviously has some national contenders. How does this team – you're always good. You're always in the hunt. How do you take that next step to just get over the hump from perennial contender to in the national championship game?
Details. We got to come out every week and focus on the details. The little things are going to separate the close losses to close wins, and those little wins to big wins and things of that nature. We got to just dial in on the details. We got to be a mature team week in and week out, knowing that it's a different game plan every week, but it's the same goal at hand. We got to go every week and win a week. We got to make sure that we're winning a week. And that's how we're going to go through this season, man. We got to be able to just be detailed, not look forward to the next thing, not try to look forward to playoff time or look forward to rivalry week or anything of that nature. We can't skip any steps with this process. Got to go through it step by step, week by week, and put this thing together. And at the end of the season, we'll see where we land. And we're very confident that we'll end up where we want to be with the work that we put in.
Chris, I would imagine belief and confidence is a big part of that.
Yeah, I think it's – like Coach Hill said, it's going to be awesome to be able to actually play every team and get a true conference champion this year, and because it's really up for grabs, and we believe we can go out there and run away with it.
Mm-hmm. We've been asking almost everybody today, North Dakota State, good riddance, or, geez, we're going to miss getting a chance to play those guys. DJ wants that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss it. You got those guys that's stamped at the top of that's proven it. They've proven national championship after national championship. The Dome is a great place to play at. I'm gonna miss it. I love those type of games. Love those type of hills to battle that people think you can't win. Those games that people think is no chance. I'm gonna miss those guys. But good luck to them in the Mountain West. Show them that great football is played everywhere, and not just at the FCS level. It's not just different in levels. Those guys are going to go up to the Mountain West, and I think they're going to do big things, and just showing people that the FCS is the same level of football, if not just better. You just got to see deeper teams and stuff of that nature, but the talent is everywhere in this football thing.
Sort of on that topic, Coach, you guys have an FBS game. I believe you play Illinois. Everybody in the league, I think, has a game. That hasn't always been the case. How do you view those games? How important are they? And are they more difficult to win, considering the transfer portal is becoming a bigger and bigger factor of moving some of that talent from FCS to FBS? Because it seems like it might be harder to win.
Yeah, I would agree with that point, or we've got to go out and do it. We've won a few of them. One Power 4 conference, we beat Northwestern, in 2022, and then beat Northern Illinois in 23, and so and then back in my playing days, we went to Indiana and won. So it's a game that I'm sure all these guys feel and where they look forward to it, and but we go out on the field like prepared to go play well, like. We went to Purdue last year. We went on 2 scoring drives to start the game, and then battled them to the very end. And so, I think it's a thing that, I think now there's probably more pressure on them if they would, just the amount of resources, money that they've put in those rosters. But we're going to go cut it loose, but we'll get on the bus. This is my first time that I've been a part. Like even when I played, I think we played maybe Illinois in 2013 while I was in between not there as a player or as a coach. So I'm looking forward to it. It's been over a decade. Our fans are excited. I mean, 2.5 hour, 3 hour trip, and we get to go play the flagship of our in the Big Ten, U of I, and so I'm really looking forward to it. Like he said, I mean that game will get here when it gets here. The most important game right now is when we go to West Florida. We've got to get on a plane and go to Florida and play our first game. Looking forward to that. And, we'll look forward to Illinois when it gets here.
Well, good luck in that game and good luck this season. Southern Illinois, thanks for joining us today.
All right, appreciate it.
We'll be back with more after this.
It's still happy hour with John Gaskins, but it's almost over. Last call.
And there you have it. Every single player and coach from all 9 teams that were at Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day. And you're still here, which is good news because who doesn't love a bonus round? Our own Zach Borg of Midwest Sports Plus provided some one-on-one interviews. You can check out all of his material, a couple stories that are coming out of Media Day at Midwest Sports Plus. But we are going to play for you a chat he had with Victor Edwards, the second leading returning rusher coming back behind only Bo Brungard, the Walter Payton Award winner. That's a little bit later with the Illinois State running back. But first, here is Zach's chat with the second-year head coach at Northern Iowa, Todd Stepsis. You remember UNI, don't you? They used to be the titan of this league before North Dakota State took over. But Mark Farley, who was for years the dean of MVFC coaches, retired before age 60. After the 2022 season, the funds are not coming in. Northern Iowa has had a tough time keeping up with the Joneses in the arms race of Division I football, and Farley got sick and tired of NIL, etc. So in comes Todd Stepsis, who had taken Drake to back-to-back Pioneer League titles in the FCS, the non-scholarship league, and he just moseys on up to Cedar Falls, has the recruiting footprint in Iowa. The Panthers, though, went 3-9 in his first season, just 1 win in the Mo Valley last year. So here is Zach with Stepsis.
You kind of learn, I mean, obviously I know you're no stranger to the FCS. I know you were coaching at Drake before, but it's a bit of a hike up going from the Pioneer League to the Valley. What did you kind of learn from year 1 to year 2?
I think more importantly than the competition, I mean, a lot of our non-conference games when we were down there, unfortunately, was against Valley teams. So we knew the caliber of opponent that we had. It was more importantly the lessons that we learned within ourselves and our team. And a year now removed, going into year 2, what are some things that we didn't do very well. Me as a head coach, things that I did poorly. I wish I would have maybe found out a little bit more about our team, beyond their skill sets, their personalities, who they were, how they handle adversity, which ones are resilient, which ones can kind of crumble. And I think, probably too tunnel visioned on the season and the games and didn't really appreciate the day-to-day things and getting to know my team better. So that's probably what I'm most excited about moving into year 2 is I really love our team, who they are as individuals, what makes them tick, and then who they've become in this process. They have done an amazing job of being resilient. So coming off of a poor season from a win-loss perspective, going through an off season where we brought our new strength coach, we really challenged them physically. Losing a teammate, suddenly to a tragic accident. I mean, all of those things has built our team into what I believe could be a really formidable opponent for anybody that we play. So excited for the future. Again, just really proud and grateful to be a part of such a great group of guys.
I mean, the loss of a teammate. Did you talk with Dan Jackson or any of the people there? I mean, obviously they dealt with the Nate White thing a year ago. You kind of reached out how to there's no real playbook for how to deal with it.
Yeah, there's not. But it was great. A lot of the Valley coaches reached out just to give condolences and to let us know that they're thinking of us. And it was funny. I was doing an interview down with a couple Des Moines people before driving up here yesterday, and they talked about, are there any coaches that you're not looking forward to having dinner with tonight? And my honest answer was no. I mean, of course we're all competitors and we want to beat each other, but at the same time, it is a bunch of good humans that are coaching for the right reasons. We all want to win, and we know how important it is to do that, but more importantly, the responsibility to impact young people. And I mean, you're a good human, you're a good husband, you're a good father, and this league has a lot of that running their programs.
With UNI, there's so much tradition and history. I mean, about a decade or so ago, this was a national title contender. It's been obviously a tough period since then. Is there a pressure? What is it like trying to rebuild that when so much has happened? I mean, it's just such a different era right now. How tough is it kind of balancing where this program was, where things are now, and trying to build it back to that?
Right. Well, I mean, to your point, the expectation is still there. I mean, if you ever spent time in Cedar Falls or the Cedar Valley, UNI football matters. People really care about it. They talk about the glory days all the time, and they desperately wanted to give them back. So, yeah, there's pressure to get it back there, but I think that's a good thing. I think a lot of people see pressure as a negative, and it is a privilege. It's a positive, and so how you treat that, how you use that, can either make the coal stay a coal, or it can create a diamond. And so that's what we see. Is it's a program that was great once before. We use that as purpose and fuel to get us going. And hey, how do we make the former Panthers, this community, proud of us, and how do we turn that back into a winner? And we know that is not a flip the switch kind of thing. That's a relentless, a detailed and consistent action that our team needs to buy into, and they have. And so that's where we're at. And again, our community is excited for round 2 of this journey.
What do you think this year's team will look like on the field?
I mentioned relentless, detailed, consistent. So we call it best effort on our place. And Coach Jeff Jones is our new strength coach. Joined us in January, and that was a phrase that he brought to our team. And that's what I really hope that people walk away from a game where we're playing and they think of, man, that team was relentless. The juice that they played with was off the charts. They were a tough out, and if we have to play them again, we're not looking forward to it. And just the great teams are detailed, man. They don't beat themselves. They're well-oiled machines in all 3 phases, and they take advantage of teams. They don't lose games. They let other teams beat themselves, and so the detail of being a disciplined team is really what we're going for, and then the consistency to do it not only for 60 minutes but day in and day out really is what we're looking for. And so a team that's going to give best effort every single day, that's going to fill the dome up, because again, there's a lot of pride in our place, and that's going to hopefully help us get a few more wins.
Todd Stepsis, the coach at Northern Iowa, entering his 2nd season. The Panthers, by the way, tied for last last year picked to finish third to last, 7th out of 9 teams this season. Zach Borg also caught up with Victor Edwards. He's the third leading rusher in the Mo Valley in 2025. LJ Phillips was the champ. He was the leading rusher in the nation, and he went from USD to the University of Iowa. Big payday. Bo Brungard, quarterback YSU, named the Heisman Trophy winner of the FCS, the Walter Payton Award. He's the leading returning rusher, but Victor Edwards, number 3. Of course, he was on the national championship runner-up team with the Redbirds, who were just a few inches away from beating Montana State in the title game last January. And he is back. The Redbirds finished tied for third last year before winning 4 road games in the playoffs and coming literally inches from winning the national title. And while they lost prolific quarterback Tommy Rittenhouse, they are still picked to finish second in the league. They received 3 first-place votes out of 36. Of course, SDSU received 28. Here is Zach Borg with Illinois State running back Victor Edwards.
Obviously, you can't get any closer than last year as a team. How is this group feeling coming into the season after you got so close to the national title last year?
I'd say, when you lose the national championship or, even in that manner, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But with that, it leaves you hungry to, get back there and win it all.
For this group, obviously, you certainly have a lot of guys. You lose some big pieces to this team, obviously, namely the quarterback. But how do you replace what he brought into the huddle and certainly fill his shoes coming back?
You really try not to think about filling his shoes. Just play your own role. Because it's just how college football is now. Everybody is bringing in a new team. With new team comes new challenges. So just bring yourself and be authentic.
How much confidence did last year give you guys? Because, I know a lot of, it's been a playoff team before. There's been a lot of success. I know Coach Spack's been there forever. Mm-hmm. But to make that kind of a run, go into the Fargo Dome, go on the road, what does that do when you come back having a run like that as you come back to this league now? Even though you lost some big pieces, what does that do for this team's confidence as you come into a new season?
It definitely gives us confidence. Everybody that's been around us feel like we was capable of doing that. It was just more of just proving ourselves as anything. It just gives you a lot of confidence.
So obviously we know who's gone in this league, and although you guys certainly sent them out, you guys certainly sent a little satisfying to send them out. It turns out you sent them out with a loss. Hindsight, how does that feel?
It's pretty cool. Obviously they're a great team, and best of luck to them. It feels pretty great.
So what do you think? What might be some differences between this year's team and last year's Illinois State?
I'll say, me personally, I still have the mindset of like the underdogs, but other people might not think that no more. They'll probably have our game scheduled just because of what we did last year. So, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more challenging to stay under the radar.
You get South Dakota State and South Dakota, those two schools in your building this year. Obviously it'll be later in the year for South Dakota. Playing those two schools, what do you kind of expect when you get them on the schedule?
They probably got it circled as well. Last year we won on their field, twice, South Dakota and South Dakota State. They probably want to do the same to us, win on our field. So, we just got to be prepared for that.
And what's it like too this year? One of the things with NDSU leaving, with there being no teams coming in, it's full round robin. Is it kind of nice to be playing everybody this year? You don't miss it. There's no bye with any teams this year. You play everybody this year.
Yeah, I like that a lot because I feel like, whoever wins the conference is like, the true winner, you could say, just because, like you said, you play everybody. So it's no like questions. It's like, oh, what if they played this team, or what if they played that team? No, everybody play each other. So, that's just good competition all around.
Illinois State running back Victor Edwards, health permitting, will play a major role and how the Missouri Valley Football Conference race unfolds in 2026. Big thanks to Zach Borg for those interviews. Again, you can find more of them and the stories he puts together at Midwest Sports Plus. You can watch all of these interviews, all 9 teams, at SiouxFallsLive.com and also at Midwest Sports Plus. If you enjoyed listening to them, you can watch them as well. Same with all the one-on-ones I did yesterday with the likes of SDSU coach Dan Jackson, USD's Matt Vitztham, Brock Spack, the dean of the league, the coach at Illinois State, with incredible stories about Joe Tiller, who he worked for at Purdue, and about his time in Bloomington. And there was another wonderful chat with Kurt Mallory, Indiana State coach, who's been around some Big Ten royalty. Dad coached for Woody Hayes, and Kurt played for Bo Schembechler at Michigan, coached for his dad at Indiana. Bo Brungard, hey man, that guy is the reigning Walter Payton Player of the Year. He talks about his football journey growing up in the Youngstown area. And I also had a chat with Eric Schmidt, the head coach at UND, who spent a lot of time with Kalen DeBoer and gives us a behind-the-curtain look at what makes DeBoer such an incredible head coach, winning 86% of his games. All that on Media Day #1 show that we released on Tuesday, the one-on-ones I did. And again, you can watch those at SiouxFallsLive.com. And this is just the appetizer for the season. It was a big day. We accomplished a lot. We extracted a lot of information and hopefully some entertainment that you enjoyed in these conversations with the Mo Valley teams. But if you're a Jackrabbit or Coyote fan, there's plenty more in store, ramping up to late August and the kickoff to the season, and then all season long. We'll have weekly interviews here on Happy Hour, and I'm not talking like bing, bang, boom, 5-8-minute interviews. We're going to go deep each and every week on these teams, their last game, their game coming up, and what's going on in between with Dan Jackson and Matt Vitztham. They're going to be generous with their time. Cannot wait, so look for that. Matt Zimmer's going to join me, of course, every week, as he has been for the last 5, now 6 years on Nobody's Listening Anyway, to break down a lot of Jackrabbit and Coyote and Mo Valley football, again, each week during the season. And we will have other guests from SDSU, USD, players, other people who cover the teams all season long. So this is just the beginning in 2026. We sure hope you enjoyed it. And we seriously encourage you to subscribe to SiouxFallsLive.com, because even though most of you do, because you probably read a lot of Matt Zimmer's stuff about the Jacks and the Yotes, Trey Houchin's work covering the Coyotes specifically, Trent Singer with his high school and Division II, USF and Augie reporting. It's all there. It's the best and most in-depth coverage of local sports you get anywhere, at any point. And it's also the place where you can watch all of these interviews that I do on Happy Hour. Again, SiouxFallsLive.com. For a low entry rate and a low monthly rate after the special rates, you're getting more than you're bargained for. And it's a must if you're a local sports fan. And it keeps us going so we can continue to do these stories and these programs. And again, Midwest Sports Plus, the app, the website, a lot of things you can watch on your television set, particularly those live high school football games that will only increase in volume coming into 2026. It was quite the venture in year #1 with football, basketball, and baseball. Can't wait to give you more, and it's coming soon. For Zach Borg, for Matt Zimmer, for all of the help we had, the whole crew that came down from Fargo, and our guys in Sioux Falls to make Media Day a grand slam here at Forum Communications. I'm John Gaskins. Happy Hour. Matt Zimmer's back with me for our weekly chat. We'll talk about what he learned at Media Days and a lot more. The Canaries and the American Association All-Star break and the MLB All-Star game and the Twins and where they're sitting. And Justin Sell, a candidate for the Iowa State athletic director job. Yeah, we'll dig in on tomorrow's Happy Hour. Cheers.
You need anything else, John?
No, I think I'm good, Greg. I think I'm going to tap out.
All right. Have a good night.